How you doing, Chairman Fred?
I'm good, So how you?
I'm doing good.
Right on.
Good. Just to see that you are a really busy person. So, like, you just came in from coming from somewhere,
Yeah.
and we're doing this interview for the Chicago Defender.
Right on.
So, thank you for your time.
Thank y'all for being here.
And for me to start off with questions, what's a day like for you? If you want to just let everybody know, what do you do on a daily basis?
But yeah, we're struggling to get more of a actual schedule. I've often said I'm a revolutionary in reactionary times, and a lot of times I have to be on what we refer to as a political pivot. Like just case in point, I got word what we refer to as court support. Brother, I think he's been locked up close to 30 years, and his niece just contacted us, and I got word later about this court date. So that's a campaign that we have, and a lot of times it's not. It's kind of arbitrary, you know what I'm saying? Like in regards to, you never know what time someone's going to continue and so on and so forth. So it could be like the day can range from going to court support, late call. Then we try to, we come in as survival programs. We outside the Hampton House, we have a community refrigerator. So we have the network of different forces who support that.
Right.
We're an international organization, so get updates in regards to what's going on. I'm actually giving some instances. This was the last day or two in New Orleans, Louisiana. Our chapter there was going on there. Meet with some recent released political prisoners. I just got where I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna be designated to speak an event in Minnesota. So maybe sometimes I say I live out of suitcase.
Yeah.
You say duty calls.
Yeah.
And so we have to take into account the times that we're in. Mm-hmm. And I was once asked, how many members do we have? And my response was, a lot of times it depends on how many people the police have murdered. Because the sad reality is that people get involved in struggle or become quote unquote conscious one of three ways: inspiration, aspiration, or desperation. So a lot of times, so these are desperate times, and so we have to have our ear to the ground. Certain people are still struggling not to become ambulance chasers, right? And have a consistency. So we look for that stage in the game, but in the interim, the day can go from everything, and also just I don't say like this is burdensome. We have what we refer to as the code of culture, and from the naked eye, maybe seeing that we just the premiere for example, for the premiere for a recent movie, Sinners, yesterday.
Yeah, nice. I saw that with Ryan Coogler. Yeah,
who's a producer on Judas and Black Messiah.
Nice.
And so just even with that, as we talked about that, ironically, I'm going to listen to this is the table we sat down and met.
Nice.
Ryan Coogler sat right there.
Okay, I'm sitting in Ryan's seat.
Right there.
Okay, next interview.
Yes, indeed. And since he's a phenomenon in her own right, also his wife and the other people involved in the movie. And this is what we actually sat down, laid out some struggles about if we're gonna go with the project or not.
Okay.
And literally, we had called each other's face, and we remember we called and we met each other before. You sit right there in that seat.
Right.
Ironically.
Okay, yes. Nice. So this was
a long answer for that question.
No, it's okay. Yeah. So for that was for the movie about your father.
Judas and Black Messiah. Yes.
And I also saw that you just went on a tour. Well, touring in Africa. Yes. So how was that experience of going nationally with that? And worldwide.
It was phenomenal. I struggled on even come back, I guess, so early, but I had to commit to speak at the memorial service for a member of we refer to as a fallen comrade, Bilal Sonny Ali, who was a member of the Black Panther Party and also the Republic of New Africa. So I had to come back and speak there in Atlanta for his memorial. I spoke at University of Ghana. That was phenomenal. Yeah, and I went to Tacuma, which is right next to Accra, the capital. I went to an area where people said, in fact, Ryan Coogler laughed about because He said, I heard about this because he said, don't go there. This is the area. He said, don't go.
He told you some places don't.
Well, he heard about the experience I had because I called him on Facebook. We showed the movie in Tacuma, this area. He was like, don't go. And we laughed about it because he knows me, you know what I'm saying? He said, they tell Chairman don't go there, he going. And literally, this area in Tacuma, I mean, the community hooked up a car battery and like a sheet. We had a showing of Judas and the Black Messiah.
Right.
We called Daniel Kaluuya, who portrayed Chairman Fred. We talked to him right there with Ryan Coogler. We talked to them, and we had some real good dialogue. Because I don't know, you touch back on issue those in regards to the movie Judas and the Black Messiah. Right. That was a lot of people had concerns. It was like, well, the issue about Daniel Kaluuya, you know, so who's from Uganda, raised in London. You know, the dynamics of him portraying Chairman Fred. And, you know, we took it on head on. And you know, dealt with it, which he, and some people say a rapper, in the music industry, say a rapper can body a lyric. We say Daniel Kaluuya embodied
that character. Fred. Yeah, he did. He did really exceptional. Right.
And to help take the conversation leaps and bounds about in regards to, you know, saying African people throughout the diaspora, relationships, contradictions, without romanticizing it.
Right.
So yes, that's the triples. Again, the triples phenomenal.
That's awesome, Chairman Fred. I wanted to also ask you, with doing your daily lifestyle duties, just keeping the Black Panther Party alive and wear your dad's legacy. How do you deal with that emotionally and spiritually? Like when you're to yourself and just have some time to yourself. What's a self-care day look like for Chairman Fred?
Ironically, I mentioned I chopped in Louisiana, and a comrade from Louisiana, he just asked me, he called me and said, Chairman, he said, man, I seen you. He said, how you keep on going, you know? And I said, well, don't get it twisted. Battle fatigue is real. It's real. Battle fatigue is real. In fact, I feel fortunate to, like, this work. It's an old saying, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Right. And I tell you, the time, even when I was to go to Africa, I initially supposed to go there in late December. It didn't work out, but the time was so needed. I was going through battle fatigue. You know, I mean, really.
Yeah. What did you do?
The struggle. I tell you, I have an addiction. The struggle is, you know, it keeps me moving. It keeps me moving. You know what I'm saying? Even at times I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? It's an addiction. I love the people. How they say in church, what's your calling? I believe it's my calling. Give you, I guess, a little more apolitical acceptance. The dogs are my thing. You know, I hang out. Sometimes I make a joke about saying, tired of these human beings. You go hang out with these dogs for a minute. You know, water. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, I'm working. In fact, I told the camera, I said, I need an aquarium. So that's water, yeah. And just, you know, even with the people, it seems, again, from the naked eye to be burdensome. You know what I'm saying?
You just love
my mother, she made a joke. She said, "Oh, you love this. You know, if you could, you know." In fact, I relate to a Chairman Fred on his tombstone. It said, "If my people had been freed, I don't know what I would spend my life doing."
And what's the first memory that you have of your mother sharing, like when you were growing up? What's the first memory you have of your mom telling you about your dad?
It's so intertwined with everything. Like I recall as a child, you know, coming home, like in school, and I remember saying, so that, you know, this, even though one lady I said, they told the Black Panther Party, you know what I'm saying? Even though it was like covered in the coded sense, I remember, you know, just saying that in our discussions. I remember on the south, 63rd out south, around a little apartment we stayed in, and I don't know if it was, I remember, I mean, I had to be young. I mean, I definitely, I can't remember. I remember just telling her, so I talked to him, you know, and she said, yeah. I said, yeah, like, as if like he was here or something, you know? Yeah. And then just throughout my life, her principal stance, I tell the story. I call it a war story and a love story. When there was a proposal brought to us about a book, and this is one of those cold Chicago winters when the heat was off. Excuse me. And the book was building the police up as these heroes. And I remember I was 11 or 12, and I said, well, if this happens, does that mean that the heat get turned on? And I remember her principal position. She said, "This is a no-go. This is not happening." We was in the basement of a church, 55th and Paulina, and I remember that principal stance she took, and under contested conditions. The other people were like, "What? Just do it," But that stuck with me. That stuck with me. In fact, I laid that out too, like some of the struggles we had, but not just jumping on board with previous attempts to do narratives about Chairman Fred or the Black Panther Party.
Right. And how do you want to just keep so for my other question is the legacy of it all. How do you intend to keep it going even in the future? Like, what's your plans for that?
I always say, I tell people, I say, deal is, this is ongoing. It's a war on us. I know something that sounds cliches, and a lot of times people trivialize struggle to just that of say the military aspects of it, but but the whole dynamics of it, like our legacies. In fact, we say our legacy is more important than our life. And I said we got to struggle to put that Panther Cub pill in the applesauce.
Mm-hmm.
It's past January, I was in I spoke at the Lorraine Motel, Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. King was assassinated at, and went to the National Civil Rights Museum. And I pointed out to him, I said, "See, you got to look for stuff like this." And I went back and showed with Claudette Colvin, who a lot of people are not familiar with, who's still alive, who took position not to give up her seat. No disrespect, no slight to Rosa Parks,
right.
But through the contradictions, class contradictions, she was not acknowledged. And another sister, Mary Louise Smith. And I say, you got to do certain moves that people, I say, that'll still be under attack. Still, the terms, like I said, I still learn from the Panther Party. I say, well, this is why he done this. This is how the breakfast program. This is why it was done this particular time. This is why this term was used. So even the legacy, struggling for self-determination, try to put something for future generations.
Right.
Field Marshal George Jackson, the Black Panther Party, said we're fighting for the unborn, the living, and the dead.
So for the Black Panther Cubs and then the future generation, what youth services are you working with now? Like, what's going on with the young kids?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
One of the programs we have, our pride ourselves about is the Triple C's.
Triple C's.
Triple C's: Children, Community, and Cubs.
Okay.
That's it. One of our international programs we have in Saint Denis, France. Our leadership chairman Franco, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Gary, Indiana, Oakland, our different chapters. This is where every Saturday is designated. It's done in the spirit of the Black Panther Party Free Breakfast Program, where people come out and we just don't give them food. It's not charity, but we engage in political campaigns ranging from campaign to free political prisoners, Mumia Abu Jamal, to what's happening inside the infamous Cook County Jail. We don't care health system.
Nice.
Whatever. In fact, we target areas that people run away from. In fact, we go to that. I recall one Triple C we did, Garfield Park on West Side. It was right after the 8-year-old girl was found in the lagoon or something. And so that's what we're gonna be there this Saturday.
Okay.
So we go right to it. To politicize the people. We go to the most hard-hit areas. So that's one of the programs I pride. Also, we're looking forward to this retreat from Chirac, and it's something that this brother Miller Frazier Jr. This brother has a farmland 45 minutes outside Chicago, and we to take these youngsters, literally on weekends, right down to the farmland, and we've been taking them down there, and it's like a Jenny Craig commercial before and after.
Yeah,
we
from the difference
there.
of it.
Oh yes, and
nice.
And no cell phones. They go down there, they hit the land, they work, and he breaks it down to them in layman's terms. Everything from take them to the auction with the chickens.
Let them see a different environment.
Yeah, them see a different environment.
Yeah.
I love that program.
Awesome.
I love that. Yeah.
Excuse me. Is there a place where you guys have meetings? Like if young youth want to join, or do you just go to the local high schools, and how do you reach out to the next generations?
Yeah, one of our mantras is that the streets are our office. Our work hours are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our secretaries are the brothers and sisters you see out there in the community. Of course, we based here at the Hampton House. That's for the Illinois chapter. We have the weekly radio show that every Wednesday, Freedom All Radio, and that's in fact to become membership. You have to get 6 past episodes and write a summation. Similar to the Black Panther Party, you had to go through 6 weeks of political education.
Okay.
So we go through 6 weeks. You have to write up 6 different write-ups on different Freedom All Radio shows. We go to where they at. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we're talking about going through struggling to implement the campaign to get our old headquarters, the space in Inglewood, 54th and Halsted. That was the old Chairman Fred Hampton Uhuru House we had in 1990, 1993. So it's a vacant lot now. We go out there and talk to them. We have what we call the straight street sessions. Where we say we can't get them to come to the meetings, we're going to take the meetings to them.
Right.
So the barber shops, you know what I'm saying? We literally go to them, touch down with them. In fact, I'm in the studios. I go to the studios with brothers and sisters. I sit down with them. Minister UEPD said that power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in desired manner. Power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in desired manner. We study the people. Hip hop is a phenomenon. We say let's define it. Let's win certain points of unity. So we like in New Orleans. The second line, we would use it as an organizer tool. You know what I'm saying? Baltimore, I was seeing how the black t-shirts in the nighttime, the white t-shirts in the daytime was a phenomenon. So we took that, I recall, we said, okay, let's get the free Marshall Eddie Conway on those shirts. Take what y'all doing and tweak it. So we study the people, whatever phenomenal them.
And then relate to it so you can.
Yes, and we go in. We go in with like what Chairman Fred did with the Rainbow Coalition, which we had the president of the Rainbow Coalition even to this day. We go in, we have a constitution, we have a backbone. We're not, you know what I'm saying, this wishy-washy, go with Joey Wayne. But in fact, there's a joke they make about me. I was in prison. They said Chairman Fred, he goes to the Muslim service, Hebrew service, street organizations, their meetings, and he still comes out Chairman Fred.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just asking about that, Chairman Fred.
Yes.
Now, you said that you did go to prison.
Yes.
Now, what turned your life back after you got out? Like, what made you just say, "Hey, I'm good. I want to do this now"?
Well, let me. I was taken to prison because of the work I was doing. I'm clear on that. In fact, ironically, 2 things that they brought up. I just came across a photograph with a Chicago defender the first day I was released. I can't recall this is the name. I just came across a photograph with September 14, 2001, when she interviewed me. I was taken to prison, and in fact, a brother told me, he said, one time, I remember we had a headquarters on 54th and Halsted. He said, when I first met you, I was young. He said, I was kind of having an issue with you. I said, yeah. He said, because you was kind of passionate. My mother we had a program that people, if they brought a photograph of going to visit someone in prison, they can get free entry into the discos, the parties. And he said he was passionate because my mother was saying that my father, when he went to prison, and you kept stressing, he was taken to prison. And he said that impacted me later. He said, first I was like, who is this guy talking to my mother? He said we both understood it. I was targeted. In fact, it came out during the quote-unquote trial. It was a legal lynching. I was sentenced by one of the most infamous Cook County judges to this day to 18 years, which I subsequently served 9, which after the uprisings throughout the country, throughout the world, the Rodney King verdict, Semi Valley, the LAPD beat Rodney King. I was issued 2 trumped-up charges of aggravated arson, which they claimed I proposed so-called allegedly firebombs from stores on 63rd and Halsted. During the trial, quote-unquote trial, it came out. It was questionable if this had even happened at all. But what did come out with questions such as, "Aren't you Chairman Fred Hampton Jr.? Don't you do you ascribe to this? Did you write this article?" So it was made very clear I was transferred to virtually just about every prison in the state of Illinois, or attempts made on my life. So I was clear. In fact, it was said in the infamous TAMS, Supermax, they took different people who were supposed to be involved in different activities. But they said, you have no assaults on your record. She said, wait a minute. She said, it says right here, you are Fred Hampton Jr. You have the ability to organize. I said, wow, can I get a copy of that? She said, no, we can't do that.
Okay.
So I was honored. Because I tell you, like, even with Chairman Fred, though he was assassinated in a graphic way, the system takes all of our fathers, or attempts to take all of our fathers, all of our mothers, one way or another, and to bring the pus out of the soil. So I was honored. It was made clear the real reason why I was locked up.
Sure. So how did you come to understand that the radical change comes at a cost?
Through like harassment, just and in fact, just even seeing, I tell people, seeing the pictures of Chairman Fred, giving them told what happened, saying hearing the stories about him as a teenager, this house being wiretapped. In fact, they said Washington D.C. Bureau thought it was a typo. He couldn't be this young. And the heat that comes and seeing the responses, like the fear factor, like I mentioned earlier, in school, even it's coded. Like you can, like people say, well, a lot of people don't know Chairman. I said, no, I think they do know. I taught it at a school on the southeast side of Chicago, Winnie Mandela, and I was talking, and it was like a ignorance and an arrogance for some of the youth. Like they didn't know who Winnie Mandela was. Some was announced they didn't care. So, we're not gonna have that here. So, and they like, well, I said, no. So one young brother, he kind of, raised up. So I, was raised right back on I said, this ain't that. And I was about 15 years old. Cried. He said, you the first man I ever met. I responded. A tear came out my eye. I'll make a joke. My eyes got sweaty.
Oh, it was a little raining. It was raining, so you came in and the rain was still on there.
Yes. And he said, they kill people like you. I said, wow. And we know this. And so even our community, we taught early on, what to say, but who, different. It's like it's ingrained.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not actual threat, a physical attack, but we pick up. Stephen Biko of the Black Conscious Movement said, Black people must grasp the ability to distinguish intelligence from the ability to articulate. So even before we even articulate that, something that's told us about, don't acknowledge our pain, don't acknowledge, don't speak up, for others.
Right.
It's coded or said in the way the images, the lack of images we see. One of the few movies I ever seen about chattel slavery and resistance that was not done in a reactionary way was a movie, ironically called The Book of Negroes.
Okay.
I said it showed Black men and women in tandem, fighting, resisting, not fighting each other, fighting against the colonizers. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't done in a reactionary way. It showed them speaking up for other people. That's something like we have. I see the Black Panther Party, the programs to serve people that you don't even know. I recall a situation on an individual. I know it's Daryl Hamilton that's murdered by Chicago police, and we protested, and they kept referencing him in the media as Daryl Hampton. And I commented to a reporter. I said, later on, you know why you called him Daryl Hampton? And she said, well, I said, you figured he had to be related to me. And that's a different feeling.
So I was trying to make a connection out of just because.
Like Spike Lee's version of Malcolm X. He said, what's the hustle? Since we're taught, we don't have those images of people standing and fighting for us. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't see it, something in the back of my mind tells you, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? If you stand up, one the leadership, one of the largest student organizations down in Chicago, if not the country, we laugh about it now. We had a dialogue about 30 years ago. He said to me, he said, man, you crazy. That's why he said that. He said, you crazy. I went down for the people. I said, yeah. I said, something wrong with me?
Right.
I said, you don't catch down for cars, drug strips. I said, you said something wrong with me, but it's taught in our community. Don't do that. Yeah.
Do you always feel that because that was your dad's, his motive as well? Do you always feel that you have to be like that's your responsibility to be a part of his legacy?
Now I feel, I think that's it was like as I said earlier, it's like I feel like it was they say in church, your calling. It's a comfortable fit for me, 'cause I grew up in the city. It, as I said, I say like it's different. Like not only the names had not changed, excuse me, a lot of things had not changed. The names were still the same in many cases. Like even with the case I was given, it was brought out that the one who orchestrated was the same law enforcement official that was involved in surveillance and the subsequent assassination, Chairman Fred.
Mm-hmm.
So like the same dynamic, it was like you know what I'm saying, not the same, it was like similar,
Right.
And it was like, so I tell you, I think my allies, my adversary, is like a comfortable, like a fit, like this your calling. Like I tell you, so you don't know a person's, calling. I feel a loyalty and a commitment to, I say, even people who are not physically here anymore, to our ancestors, to our people. And the more you learn, the more responsibility you have, to follow through with it. So I won't say pressure, but I do, at the council with Chairman Fred and likes, wave like, hold on, don't mess up that, tighten up, yeah.
And I just have a few more questions for you, Chairman Fred. Do you have any more intimate stories about you that you remember about your childhood, just growing up in the city, and being around your family and friends? Like, what's something like pretty cool that people don't know about you, Chairman Fred? Maybe on the basketball team, or
I did
break dancing back then. Like,
my mother would she used to say that you and the champion, you and your father, y'all rhythm, y'all have no rhythm.
So you dance like your dad?
Well, with stepping, I love stepping. I love watching. I'm not great, so I know. I tell people, if I come on the floor, I say, oh, "Can we fake it? You got to fake it with stepping." I love to watch that. And my mother tells a joke. I forgot the name of this place. They would go. She say she'd be done dancing, and Sharon be right there. She'd be like, "Sharon, you getting down?" She said she'd be doing all the moves. I said I can relate to that. So I love that. I love that. I did with the devil sports here and there. Yeah, I played high school basketball for a minute, but yeah.
Other than that, you was just chilling,
yeah.
More so like the social person. You would say like everybody was just more so like.
Yeah. I've always spoken word poetry. That's one of my. In fact, I just had a discussion. Brother Jay Ivy and Teray, they always.
Oh yeah, I've seen Jay Ivy. At an event that I had to do for the Chicago Defenders.
They just seen the premier of centers.
And K-Love. Mm-hmm.
K-Love.
Yes.
K-Love.
Shout out to the both of them. Amazing.
She just back to back. She just a phenomenal event. She just did at City Winery. K-Love, and this piece she does. She honor my mother, cool. We go back, and these we refer to as the Black Panther Cub Code of Culture. We say there's too many of us in Sing Sing. Mm-hmm. But people just be talking about some bling bling. Mm-hmm. I'm real big about not looking at art for art's sake. How can we tie it into the struggle? You know what I'm saying? And so this is a period of time where I think I can relook. As I say, everything's political. Sometimes you say, "Oh, he come with this really sports, entertainment, whatever the case may be." And when you have a period, when you can enjoy, art
The beauty
and
in
the
it.
beauty of it
Yeah.
and the political significance without being over there. I tell you, food. I say you have to. Something I can be like. I hate it sometimes. I remember this coffee. Some Vietnamese coffee one time, and the waitress said something. She said, "Well, this is French influence." I say, "French influence? That's a nice way of saying colonized." You know what I'm saying? I said, and so a lot of things I don't. I remember one time. I'm gonna say this. Then years back, was going to the movie New Jack City come out, and they was saying who's gonna be on my security detail. And there's one sister's comment. She said, "Nobody want to go to the movie with Chairman Fred." I said, and everybody looked at her. I said, "Why you say that?" She said, "Don't worry about it." I said, "No. I'm just y'all be saying behind my back." She said,
"Like say it."
"Yeah, say it, yeah." She said, "Chairman, nobody want to go to a movie with nobody. Nobody want to." I said,
"You gonna break it down, Chairman?"
I said, "No, I'm saying that. I just feel bad." She no. So we went to. I said, "Okay." So we went to the movie, and so as soon as New Jack City came on, I recall the movie. I say, "Man, ain't no damn. We ain't creating no crack." And I remember saying that, and they was like, "Ah." But then we left, and we pulled up in the gas station on 47 in the alley, and then the Roosevelt building then, and people was running outside. They said they raided the New Jack City building, and I looked at her. I said, "You see what I'm saying?"
See,
and she said, "Yeah,
it was
okay,
like
okay."
they were upset about
and
what
the
it
political
said.
impact of how it impacts our people. And sometimes I wish I can cut it off. I really do. I wish I can.
Well, I understand, Chairman Fred. I'll always have a conversation with you because I'll be like, really? I love history.
Yes.
So yeah.
Sometimes you be like, oh, okay.
Like more.
Yeah. It's addiction, you know what I'm saying? And I really, this is a time period. I'm it's bad, but it's good because it's like the stuff has become like up front. They're not just in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? You have discussions happening. You know what I'm saying, in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's
all over.
And
yeah.
What's that match? Alcoholics Anonymous say the first step in addressing the problem is recognizing when you have a problem.
And what's the solution?
You know what I'm saying? At least acknowledge. With us, it's such a don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Leave it alone.
Don't you know what I'm saying? So that's also an extra hit.
Yeah. Okay, and then my last two questions is, so like you were telling me earlier, you're going to actually probably renovate your this is your dad's home, like where he grew up in Maywood. Shout out to Maywood because I got family in Maywood too. I'm a bloodline.
Hey, you got your family for real.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you're gonna revamp it, and are you gonna have another group? Like, when are the renovations? Like, and are you gonna have another like a grand grand opening, but a tour so everybody can like come and like book and come and see
we
it.
Invite people. In fact, we want people to grow with us during the process of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I've got these other families that's out here. I remember when we first got here, we were trying to save the Hampton House, to save it. Since I remember one brother, him painting here. So we want people to be involved in this process with it. So we're gonna be still working back. K Love's gonna be doing the Hampton House Hampton House tiny desk concerts, poetry stuff. So we're gonna start doing them upstairs.
Okay.
So we're gonna be working while while we build working all the work gotta continue, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna balance it out.
It's in progress.
It's in progress, yep. So this is gonna be the first actually we're gonna re-hit it, but at the same time keep the aesthetics, you know what I'm saying, that time period.
Okay. Yeah. And then for the past and future generation, the last question for me, Chairman Fred. Past and future generations, Black Panther Party, Black Panther Cubs, what do you envision for it for the next 10 years and so on? Even when you like are just, getting older, what do you want for that? And who do you feel like the next leaders would be?
Yeah. We have the president with the Black Panther Party Club youth troops. That's the youth troops, and they like basically, you know what I'm saying, 8 to 14, and but you want to constantly lay those. Like, I'll be cognizant until you don't know who you're impacting. Leave those examples, So I say because I learned. I tell people. Matter of fact, K Love. Some years back, she's this brother. He's going through some struggles. Young brother going through struggles. He was early teens, and she's telling me, this is ooh. No, it's a while back, years back. And I said, meet me over here. I was taking a walk on the west side, and she brought him. And I was talking to her, and I remember her asking me after, she said, without your father being there, how did you, and I said, I'm paraphrasing, I put in the poem, I learned lessons from his legend on what a man was supposed to be. And then our community, I picked different dynamics from different people. Marcus Garvey's one of his accents was take take with a ply, let the rest fly, in the old African accent, eat the fish, eat the bones. I tell you, I learned how to shave by listening to brothers, they call ear hustling. I'm, saying, I remember this brother, I remember this youngster, just listen to him and his, discuss about him and his wife, the children, the family. And that hurts that when we get, saying, because the deal is, it's a reality, and that's a trapping of being colonized.
Right.
So I want to leave. I tell, in fact, these are internal struggles we're going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
This picture, Chairman Fred, it's supposed to be up. It usually sits right in front of this Hampton House. I'm to the point now. I'm gonna get up to my 7 put it up because if the wind's so strong out here,
and
knock it down.
Windy City.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With that picture, I was speaking at an event, and the sister spoke. She said, "Me and my daughter came by that picture. You never know the impact." I said, "I want to make sure the images. I want to, we get out there. We right across the street from the elementary school that he attended.
Yep.
And we first got here, those children did not know who Chairman Fred was.
Yeah.
And and this one parent said that because of y'all, the children gotta get bigger shirt sizes. So why you said, she said they walk with a pride. They be like, now they be saying stuff like, that's probably where he said it. You know what I'm saying? That we want to provide as a term. We like this term as opposed to saying role models, real models. Mm-hmm. We got our contradictions, we got our bars and scars, you know what I'm saying? But they're being relatable. A lot of times we're giving people who, if they wanted to, they couldn't relate to us. They couldn't find out neighborhoods with a GPS map. You know what I'm saying? So I've been fortunate to have, to see people in our communities and relate. And I owe it. We owe it, to lead those examples for future generations.
Yep.
Yeah.
And keep
it's
going.
An orphan horse is the most difficult horse to raise. They say it's something like you know how to trot or to walk. So we have to have a community where people can see examples. So we want to do that.
Thank you, Chairman Fred, so much for this interview.
Thank you, sis. Right on.